Okay, so now from this lecture we are going to talk about lights inside of Cinema 4D. To understand the lights we need to create one scene. So let's do one thing. Let's create one plane over here. I'll press ND on my keyboard like this, and I'm going to decrease the height width segments, and I'll press C to make this object editable. I'll press T and I'll increase the size from here and one size from here like this. Then I'll go to my edge mode. I'll select this edge and I'll press D to extrude, and I'll extrude this edge over here like this. And let's do one thing. Let's go to the right view and we will simply move this edge over here like this. Let's say somewhere around like this. And now I'll select my points. I'll go to the rectangle selection. I'll select those points. I'll press T and I'll adjust somewhere around like this. Okay, so I'll get something like this. Now I'll select this edge tool. I'll select this edge, right click, and I'll choose bevel, and I'm going to increase the bevel, and I'll also increase this subdivisions. Then I'll go to my right view. I'll select my points and I'll select the rectangle selection tool and I'll select this point and I'll move this over here. So now I'll get this kind of shape, and I'm going to enable my cube over here like this, and then we'll go over here and I'll bring my cube over here like this. Okay, and let's adjust the scene like this. Okay, so our scene is ready now. Let's move this over here, and now throughout this scene we need to understand what are lights. Okay, so over here, as you guys can see, this is the light option. If you click on it, and let's create separate one, then as you guys can see, first we will get is kind of bulb light or like structure. So let's simply click on it, then it will create one light over here. If I bring this over here, as you guys can see, we will get something like this. But even if I bring light over here, as you guys can see, we are not going to get any shape like light is actually there. If I press NA on my keyboard, when I come to my normal mode, as like you can see, now we can understand that there is light in our scene. But when we press ND, which means we are in our edge mode, or let's say we cannot see the light properly. So let's press NA so we can understand that what is our final output will be. If I press Ctrl R on my keyboard, I'll get render also like this. Now let's select this light. Let's move this over here. Like let's bring this light in front of this cube, or let's say somewhere around over here. And now if I hit Ctrl R, I'll get this kind of structure. Now if you select this light, you will get some options over here. So first one is color, and these options are nearly similar to every light over here. Okay, so now first thing first, which is color. Obviously from name itself you can adjust the color of your light like this. Let's choose white only. Then you can use temperature also. Like right now it's kind of in middle, but as you guys can see, if I decrease it, it will become a more like sun, which means the presence of sun is too much, and if you increase too much, it's gonna be getting cold. So let's bring this somewhere around over here only, which means a little bit of white color like this. Okay, now then we will get this intensity. Right now it's 100, but if you want, then you can increase and decrease according to your needs. Right now it's gonna be 100. Then you will get this option known as type. Right now, as you guys can see, this is omni. Basically this is the type of which light you want. You can convert this light into spotlight, target light, area light, different formats of lights with the help of this type option. As you guys can see, we will get something like that. Then we will get shadows. We will look at the shadows later, right? Then we will get visible light. Right now it's none, and you should none also. Then there are some other options which are like ambient occlusion, no illumination, etc. Like if you enable this option and if you hit Ctrl R, as you guys can see, there is not gonna be any light, like your light is still present, but you're not gonna get any illumination. And ambient illumination, if you hit Ctrl R, as you guys can see, it looks like there is no object over here, so that is ambient illumination. And so options. Okay, then the important option over here is shadow, which create your scene more realistic. Like now, suppose if I select this light and if I hit Control R over here, as you guys can see, we will not gonna get any shadow over here because in shadow options it's none. But if I select this and if I choose area over here, as you guys can see, we will get this kind of structure over here. And if I hit press Control R, and if you render, as you guys can see, we will get this kind of shadows. Now shadow is coming over here because as you guys can see, our source of light is over here. If I change the source of light over here and then if I hit render from, let's say, this angle, and if I hit Control R, as you guys can see, it will act accordingly, also like that. And you can create multiple copies of this light also by holding Control. As you guys know that we can create duplicates, so I can create one light over here and one light over here, which is this things is known as 2-point lighting. And if I hit Control R, I'll get something like this. Now if you zoom in a little bit and if you hit Control R, as you guys can see, we will get a little bit of grainy look to these shadows. As you let's suppose delete this light over here, and if you hit Control R, if you see, the shadow is quite grainy. So if you suppose you want to increase the quality of the shadow, then you can go to, let's say, shadow over here, and over here you can, there is some accuracy, you can make this proper 100. But more the accurate your amount gonna be, it will take a more time to render also. Then you can add samples. So right now it's minimum samples are 8, that's why it's, as you guys can see, it's looks quite rough at the edges. But and maximum sample is 100. If I choose minimum samples also 100, and if I hit render, now it will take a little bit time to load. But if you can see, the results are quite good. If you want, then you can increase the samples also. The more you gonna increase the samples, the more proper shadow or smooth shadow you are gonna get. But it will also take time to render. As you guys can see, it's taking too much time to render because we have increased the samples. Then you can do transparency also. If I hit Control R, as you guys can see, we will get a little bit of darker shadow, etc, etc. And let's do our 8 samples again. So our render is not going to be too much long, and maximum samples, let's say 100, like this. And let's disable this transparency like this, so we'll get this kind of results. Then you can adjust the density also. For example, let's choose 50, and if I hit Control R, as you guys can see, the lights are quite what you can say, the opacity of light is little bit small. So let's make this 100, and you can adjust the colors also, like if I hit Control R, then yeah, this is what you think. Okay, so these are some basic settings of lights, and these are gonna be similar to the every lights you're gonna watch like this. So this is about omni light. In next video we are going to talk about other light.